Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be playing Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. I haven't played Minecraft in a long time, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I always have these like 1 or 2 week Minecraft phases, and then I won't play it for a couple months or a couple years, and then I'll always come back to it. Lately I feel like I haven't had a lot of creativity, so I thought it would be good to just kind of, revisit the game. I first started playing the game in beta. I don't even know how many years ago. But I basically played the game all the time until probably 2013 or 2014. I just got kind of bored of it after that, and I just really haven't been too invested in it since that point. But it feels good to be back. For some reason I'm not getting the achievements. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but oh well. So this is the first time I've ever done a Let's Play series, and it does feel really strange. Anytime I've ever made videos in the past, it's always like a script. I will say one thing about like the Let's Play communities, it just seems like it's kind of been dying over the last few years. But I guess it does make sense just because YouTube has changed so much over the years, but I don't know why I'm deciding to cut down this entire tree. I guess a good amount of wood early game would just be nice so I don't have to worry about it for a while. Or at least until I want to start like, building more. Yeah, I just thought too it'd be nice to kind of start one of these as I'm working on like other projects at the moment. Because I have like a couple different like Stardew Valley videos I'm working on that I have all the footage for. And I'm working on the script as we speak. Those kind of videos they take like, I've been sitting on them for weeks and they just take a lot of time, so those will be coming soon, so if you like to watch Stardew Valley content, stay tuned for that. So the biggest things I want to accomplish in these first couple days is just finding a place to build. Probably starting a mine and then maybe working on some other projects depending on, how long that takes. I think this would be a pretty... Oh, what the hell's going on up there? I was gonna say this would be a pretty cool area to start a mine, I think. And this sounds like a dungeon down here, potentially. So I don't really know why else there would be... Oh no, hello. Oh, I found iron already? That didn't take very long. I might as well grab some stuff while I'm down here. Man, that soundtrack is so nostalgic. I heard it all the time when I was a kid, and, even all this time later, over 10 years later, It's just very nostalgic, I don't know. Brings back a lot of good memories. We really gotta go check what's going on up there though, because I'm assuming there's like some sort of lava lake up here, but you know, again, I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. You know, I don't know if I've ever seen a lava lake this high up in elevation in the world. So we're like Y80 right now. Like I said, I think this area is a good area for a mine, but I'm gonna look around a little bit just to see where I want to build my house. So I'm not really a big fan of like these like forest areas. Having to like terraform everything, you know? Oh wow, this is so pretty. This is like a much better area. Wow. You know, that like kind of vaguely reminds me of like the screenshot, the Minecraft screenshot .png like mountain. It's so cool. Yeah, I think this is like the perfect place to build because I could put a mine over there. We have the desert. Looks like over there if we need glass. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good area. I just feel like that's the biggest problem though when I play Minecraft is I'm just, you know, too indecisive about where I want to build. No, actually I think I'll build right here. Just like the first kind of like little place to live. Well, that's about all we got for resources, so gonna have to blockade ourselves in tonight. Like I said though, it's like that's always like the worst part of playing Minecraft for me. So I'm just like so indecisive. You know, it's not like necessarily that I always just like struggle to pick like a place to build, you know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a furnace. I'm gonna smelt down our resources first, and then I'm gonna smelt some glass. Like I said, this isn't gonna be like our long-term mine. This is more so just to kind of gather some resources before we go out and finalize like an area to build. I think I should just kind of say it now, but you know I'm not the best builder when it comes to Minecraft. You know I'm always like really envious of the people that can build well, but I guess I just find a lot of joy in just being able to kind of play this game and you know build the things that I want to build and you know just have them be like all my own, have them be like special to me, have them have some sort of meaning. You know, I when I play this game too, I also like to kind of take it slow. feel like that's the biggest problem I've seen a lot of people. It's not really a problem, but a lot of people, when they play this game, it's just like kind of like speed run everything. I got to speed run down to Y11. I have to get diamonds as fast as possible. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take my time, get the resources, just build and just make the most of the time we have here. I don't really know if I feel like making this like 2 stories. I think something simple like this will do for now. I mean, I guess for the rest of the night we might as well just mine, right? Outside of that, I don't really feel like there's much else we can really do at this point. Man, I can't believe we found more iron down here. It's like, it's so much easier to find it in this version, which is, always really nice. You know, I didn't mention this earlier, but like another reason I like to play the old beta versions is just, it's a lot more simple. You basically just spend your time collecting resources and you build. There's no super elaborate farms. I always feel like that's another part of like modern Minecraft that I don't really care for. It's like spawn in, get as many resources as possible, as fast as possible, get diamonds, speedrun going to the nether, get netherite, and then you can finally build. You can make iron golem farms and, farm iron ingots and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it takes a lot away from the game. Obviously, like that's another thing too, is like you don't have to play it that way. But it does definitely seem like the game incentivizes you to play that way. To just like kind of, you know, play it fast and not really just kind of slow down and take your time and just enjoy the process. Okay, so for today, my biggest goals are to finish, or at least start on building a house, and then find a suitable area for a mine shaft. And my plans with that are just, I want to make a I want to make like a really nice mine shaft with like a good rail system. Okay, I think this is like the perfect spot to build right here. It's got a beautiful view. Once I get rid of these trees anyways. Man, these trees are just the worst to cut down. Like I hate dealing with these. Usually I just make like a flint and steel and burn them, but I figure we need the resources, so it's not such a bad thing. Another thing I really like about beta Minecraft is just the simplicity of builds. Because, in like the newer versions of the game, you have, I don't even know how many different blocks. I think it's over like 12 or 1300 blocks. So if you want to like you want to make something that's gray, you have to worry so much about color palettes and like, okay, I can use stone, cobblestone, gray wool, gravel, deep slate, like or basalt, like any million blocks that there are. So it gives you a lot of choice, which is great because a lot of builders, are very good at, figuring out those palettes and building with them. But, I'm not that type of person. I mean, you can even see from like my building over there, like, I guess it's not technically finished, but you know, it's very, very basic. You know, I struggle to even make basic towers or a castle that doesn't just look like four solid walls. But it's just like anything else. You practice, you get better at it. I think for my house, I'm just going to make it pretty similar to like what I did over there. Then eventually, I think I'm going to tear that place down and build something different there, but for now, this will be okay. Is there anybody else who doesn't like to leave trees floating? I know I can't be the only one. I feel like this is going to be too big. Probably too big for a house. Something like that should do pretty well. You know, I usually don't like to sleep through the night, but, you know, I'll make a bed and I might. But I'd prefer to try to, you know, try to get something done. That should be more than enough. Oh my god, there's a creeper right behind me. Oh, he's like right outside the door. You just stand there, buddy. It's okay. He's staring into my soul. And that's so annoying. They just like sit outside and they stare at you the whole time. It's like if you just make like one wrong move, then it's like your house is gonna be destroyed. Okay, so I got like the four main walls done for now. I have to get more resources to finish the rest of the building, but you know, I'm cooking some food right now and then I'll go find a place to start on the mine. And you know, I've been thinking and I'm thinking about either starting it there or I could even start it over here. But you know, I feel like that's too far of a walk. So I'm kind of tempted to start it here. But I might go off in that direction just to see if there's, you know, potentially a better place to put it. You always got to make a bucket, man. I can't tell you how many times a bucket of water's saved my life. So I found a place that I'm going to build the mine. As you can see, our house is going to be right there once it's complete. And then I walked around a little bit. I don't know how I didn't see this, but there's this massive, massive cliff directly behind our house. There's also all this stuff, and you know, I kind of debated building it over there, but you know, it's quite a walk. So maybe in the future we'll put something there, but you know, for now I think this will be just fine. And I usually like to build things with like odd numbers because if I decide to put like doors or anything, you know, to leave like two blocks on either side instead of, you know, having a door here and then it's like uneven, but I feel like that's a little too big for a mine entrance. I don't know. We'll see. Oh my god. Bro just like snuck up on me. What the hell? Hey guys, so it's been about a half hour since I started, so I still have a lot to do with this project, but this is what I got started so far. This is like this has been a lot of work since I've been digging about 6 blocks every row, so that's 18 blocks to go down 1 block. So I've basically just been working to get down to about Y12, so once I get down that far, then I'm gonna mine the rest of this, and then I'll fill it in with stairs, and I'll add more like decoration as we go. But this is gonna take quite a while, and I don't think anyone wants to watch mining footage for, you know, an hour. So I'll catch up with you once I get to the bottom. Okay, so I'm almost done getting the 3 rows all the way to the bottom. I still have to mine out just like this last layer, and then we'll be mostly done with the mine. I just have to go through and add like these support pillars that I made, and like I put like stone slab beams. This did take a lot longer than I wanted it to, but that's not a bad thing. It's always really peaceful to just kind of go in the mines and just spend time down here. It really gives you just a lot of time to reflect, to just think of like different ideas of what to build and what you can do better, and yeah, I guess we can take some time to explore down here. I don't really get the feeling there's going to be a whole lot, but more resources never hurts. Yeah, I guess, actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave this for another day because we've been working on the mines, and I'd just like to try to finish that before we go any further, especially because, I don't have any armor. Okay, and just like that, we finished the mine shaft. So we are currently at Y12, which should put us just above all the lava lakes, so we don't have to deal with, that headache in the future. But my plans next are going to be to make a bigger area down here, probably put some storage on either side, put plenty of furnaces to smelt things, and eventually I'm going to put a minecart system, probably like over here and then up, so it's like kind of hidden out of the way, and we're not like, it's like not in the middle the whole time. And this is the cave we're going to explore in the next episode, just to see what's down there. Sorry for like a shorter episode. I just have like a lot of time constraints, but for the next episode, I promise we'll get a lot more done. So my plans for the next episode are to finish this little area, put these support pillars down because I have them separated by every 5 blocks. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then support pillar. Also, I placed these wrong, so I'll have to fix that. But I have a lot of ideas for this world and a lot of plans. Just a lot of cool things that I want to build and a lot of things I want to get done. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.